Have you ever found yourself wondering why, even after a good night's sleep, the fatigue persists? Or worse, why it feels like your energy is always at its limit, as if you're trapped in an endless cycle of exhaustion? Most people think sleep is the only culprit, but the truth is much more complex, and perhaps surprising. What many don't realize is that factors like diet, light exposure, digital stimuli, and even what you think about before going to bed all contribute to your constant state of exhaustion. And the most intriguing part, adjusting these areas might bring a solution much faster than you imagine. Today, we're going to uncover what's really behind this persistent fatigue and how you can finally feel truly energized. There are days when we wake up feeling vibrant and ready to conquer the world. And then there are others where we can barely get out of bed without any obvious reason. This fluctuation is common and isn't just related to rest. The mind and body follow their own rhythms, and learning to listen to these signals can be the key to optimizing our productivity. It's no use forcing performance on a day when your body and brain are asking for rest. Interestingly, even top athletes like LeBron James have commented on respecting their daily limits to achieve high performance. Another point that often goes unnoticed is how our surrounding environment directly influences these energy peaks and valleys. On sunny days, for example, we feel more energized due to exposure to sunlight, which triggers the production of serotonin, the well-being neurotransmitter. Now compare that with cloudy gray days where everything seems heavier. These small climate variations directly affect our mood, and by recognizing them, we can better prepare ourselves to face them. Diet also plays a crucial role in this energy fluctuation. A breakfast rich in proteins and fibers, for instance, can be the ideal fuel for a high-performance day. But if you start the day with ultra-processed foods like sugar-laden cereals, an energy crash is inevitable. It's like trying to race a car with bad fuel. Small dietary choices directly impact how we feel and behave. Another interesting aspect is how routine influences our perception of energy. Have you noticed how on days filled with repetitive or uninteresting tasks, time seems to drag on? Monotony drains mental energy. On the other hand, days filled with stimulating challenges tend to fly by and even leave us more excited for what comes next. This shows how much the human mind craves variety and novelty as a source of energy. If we look closely, we'll realize that even a good night's sleep doesn't explain everything. There are days when we sleep well and still feel exhausted. This is linked to internal processes in our bodies that go beyond the simple act of resting. Sleep quality, which is more than just hours slept, has more to do with deep, restorative sleep cycles, something we don't always achieve. And of course, there's the emotional factor. If something bothered you the day before, whether it was a work argument or a personal issue, it directly impacts your energy level the next day. Accumulated emotions, even if not consciously noticed, drain energy in a sneaky way. A practical example? That inexplicable tiredness the day after a heated discussion. Your mind is processing, even if you're not aware of it. Interestingly, many people don't know that there are ways to balance these energy highs and lows. A simple practice like taking a 20-minute walk outdoors can be enough to recharge your energy and completely change how you approach the rest of the day. Next time you feel that lack of energy, try this and see the magic happen. The human brain is a fine-tuned machine. It has an impressive self-regulation mechanism that constantly monitors and adjusts our level of alertness and cognition. It's almost like an internal thermostat, adjusting the temperature as needed to maintain balance. But unlike a simple thermostat, this mechanism is influenced by various factors, from what we eat to the emotions we feel. Interestingly, it also learns from our experiences, adjusting to become more efficient according to our routine. An interesting example of this is the state of flow, a concept popularized by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. When we are in flow, the brain enters a deep level of concentration, seemingly operating at maximum capacity. In this state, the self-regulation mechanism is at its peak, aligning all cognitive resources for a single task. Have you ever lost track of time while working on something? That's your brain self-regulating in a masterful way. What many people don't realize is that this self-regulation ability can be enhanced. Simple practices like meditation or mindfulness help the brain strengthen its control circuits, allowing for a better response to stressful moments. An executive, for example, who practices 10 minutes of daily meditation might find themselves less susceptible to distractions and more focused on their activities. It's a subtle adjustment, but with significant implications for productivity and well-being. Moreover, the brain is programmed to seek balance. If you are too agitated, it will try to calm you down. If you are too lethargic, it will try to wake you up. That's why on busy days, like when we are under deadline pressure, the brain starts using its resources to reduce the overload. The challenge is that these resources often become depleted, leading to that sensation of mental exhaustion. Imagine trying to use your phone's battery all day without recharging it. Diet also plays a fundamental role in this self-regulation. Foods rich in antioxidants, such as berries and nuts, help protect the brain from oxidative stress, facilitating self-regulation. On the other hand, foods rich in sugar and simple carbohydrates can disrupt this balance, causing sharp energy spikes and drops. It's like trying to fine-tune a race car while fueling it with the wrong gas. Interestingly, the quality of sleep is also directly linked to this process. During deep sleep, the brain undergoes a cleaning process, removing toxins and reorganizing neural connections. This is when it self-regulates to ensure optimal performance the next day. If you don't sleep enough, this cleaning process doesn't happen fully, and the brain starts the day at a disadvantage. Finally, this self-regulation happens whether we are conscious of it or not. However, by becoming more aware of how our brain responds throughout the day, we can take practical steps to assist it. Simple routine adjustments, like strategic breathing breaks or a quick stretch, can help keep this mechanism in top form. And of course, there's always a new way to improve self-regulation. Throughout the day, the brain accumulates various substances that play a fundamental role in regulating our sleep-wake cycle. One of these substances is adenosine, which progressively builds up, signaling the body that it's time to rest. This process is almost imperceptible, but you've likely noticed that feeling of fatigue that sets in as the day progresses, even if you haven't done much physical effort. It's like the brain is subtly putting up a closed for maintenance sign to ensure you slow down. This accumulation is essential for a healthy sleep cycle, as adenosine and other substances send clear signals to the body that it's time to shut down. However, poor sleep quality interrupts this process. When we don't sleep enough or don't enter deep sleep, these substances aren't fully eliminated, and we wake up already feeling tired. Imagine starting the day with a backpack full of rocks. That's how the brain feels when sleep isn't restorative. An interesting example of this is what happens with professionals who handle long work shifts. Like doctors on call, they accumulate this brain clutter intensely over a 24-hour shift. By the end of the day, the sensation of mental exhaustion is almost palpable because the brain didn't have the chance to do the necessary cleaning. This shows the importance of sleep, not only as a process of rest, but as a cerebral cleaning. It's during deep sleep, also known as slow-wave sleep, that the brain performs this cleaning most efficiently. During this phase, cerebrospinal fluid flows through the brain, removing accumulated toxins like beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's. So, sleeping well isn't just about resting, it's about keeping the brain healthy in the long term. Chronic sleep deprivation can lead to the buildup of these toxins, and over time, the effects can be quite serious. Another often overlooked point is how the quality of sleep is directly linked to what we do during the day. Excessive stimuli, like bright lights or too much screen time, inhibit the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone. This can delay the onset of sleep and compromise the most important phase, deep sleep. To ensure the brain performs its cleaning effectively, it's essential to establish a proper sleep routine, away from distractions and digital stimuli. Interestingly, the brain has a kind of sleep bank, where it tries to compensate for lost sleep on subsequent days. However, this compensation is never complete. A lost night cannot be entirely recovered, even if you sleep more the next day. It's like trying to fill a giant hole with a small shovel. That's why sleep regularity is so important to ensure the accumulation of substances is eliminated efficiently. Finally, many might ask, is there a way to help the brain in this process? The answer is yes. Small lifestyle changes, like avoiding caffeine in the late afternoon or creating a more relaxing sleep environment, can make a big difference. Additionally, relaxation techniques like listening to soothing music before bed or reading a light book can help prepare the brain for this crucial nightly cleaning. We live in an era where we are constantly bombarded by digital stimuli. Whether at work, on the commute, or at home, the amount of information we receive daily is overwhelming. From social media notifications to short videos and audio content we consume, we are always connected to some kind of screen. And of course, this has a direct impact on our brain. Digital overstimulation can overload our senses and leave us feeling mentally exhausted, even if we haven't done much physically. The big problem with this continuous exposure is that the brain doesn't have time to shut down. It's always processing information, and this can lead to a state of chronic mental fatigue. Have you ever noticed how after spending hours scrolling through social media feeds or watching videos, you feel drained, even though you didn't do anything particularly demanding? This is the effect of stimulus overload. The brain, like any other organ, needs periods of rest, and when this doesn't happen, it begins to fail in its ability to focus and make decisions. Curiously, this overstimulation also affects sleep. Many studies show that the blue light emitted by smartphone, tablet, and computer screens inhibits the production of melatonin, the hormone that signals to the body that it's time to sleep. This makes it difficult for your brain to wind down even when you're tired, delaying sleep onset and affecting the quality of your rest. To mitigate these effects, a good practice is to turn off all devices at least an hour before bed. It may seem simple, but it makes a huge difference in the quality of your sleep. Additionally, digital overstimulation impairs our ability to focus on a single task for long periods. Multitasking, or doing several things at once, is an illusion. In reality, our brain is merely switching quickly between tasks, but this drastically reduces efficiency and increases mental fatigue. A classic example is trying to work while constantly receiving notifications on your phone. Each interruption, no matter how small, drains part of your cognitive capacity. Turning off these distractions can significantly improve the quality of your work. However, this digital reality doesn't have to be the enemy. There are ways to use technology to our advantage. Meditation apps, for example, can help combat the negative effects of overstimulation by offering moments of calm amidst the digital chaos. Additionally, conscious use of technology, like setting specific times to check emails and social media, can reduce the feeling of overload and help restore mental balance. A practice many people have adopted is the digital diet, where they set specific periods during the day or week without any contact with electronic devices. This break allows the brain to recover and return to operating more efficiently. Moreover, investing in offline activities, such as reading physical books or going for outdoor walks, can provide the much-needed mental rest. Lastly, it's worth remembering that technology, while fascinating and engaging, should be a tool, not a crutch. Using devices consciously and in balance is the key to avoiding mental overload. It's not about abandoning screens, but learning to use them smartly, ensuring that the brain gets the rest and recovery it needs to function optimally. Now that you know exactly what's behind your constant fatigue, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep ignoring the signs your body is giving, or will you finally start giving it the attention it deserves? Small adjustments in your routine, like reducing screen exposure, improving your diet, and prioritizing rest, can completely transform your daily energy levels. So, are you ready to break out of this cycle of exhaustion and start living with more vitality? The change is within your reach. It's all up to you. Oh, and if you want to keep learning how to improve your quality of life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's much more content coming your way.